It's the Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns, northbound I-95 in Georgia. Yeah. Now, y'all saw it yesterday, even through the raindrops. My apologies for that. I was headed northbound. I was on I-75 by Tampa after I went west on I-4, leaving out of Polk City, right? Remember that? The Loves out of Polk City. Y'all saw the traffic on I-4 going east toward Orlando, but I was only I was a lot closer to 75 than I was 95, even though I wound up on 95 eventually. So check this out, right? So once I get on 75, after a while, the traffic began. Lord have mercy. That traffic was serious. You heard? Serious. I didn't bother to check the mic on this thing, huh? Okay. Anyways, so from Tampa to Savannah, Georgia is supposed to take me somewhere around 5 hours. But yesterday, because people were evacuating, by the way, I'm recording this Tuesday just in case, because I'm talking about yesterday and all that good stuff, and Monday night or Monday afternoon, that's when I took off. So it's Tuesday night now, and it's supposed to take 5 hours, roughly 5 hours, a little more than 5 hours to get from Tampa, Florida to Savannah, Georgia. It took me more than 10 hours because of the traffic, because of the evacuation. Now, Milton is sounding real scary. I'm going to tell you right now. It's sounding very scary. There are 7 models that are saying that the wind shear that's supposed to come down from the north or something like that, the wind shear may not come down on time to slow this hurricane down. It's going to come down, but after the hurricane hits landfall, which means, and if they're correct, this hurricane can hit the Tampa area, Sarasota area. It could arrive and hit landfall as a high category 4 or a category 5 and remain that way all the way across till it goes to the Atlantic Ocean. We're talking devastation. We're talking devastation. We're talking 150 mile per hour winds with 170 mile per hour gusts and 15-foot surges along the coast. 15-foot. That's a 15-foot wall of ocean smacking the shore. I think I mentioned my brother-in-law lives in Sarasota. My niece lives somewhere in Central Florida also. If they don't get up out of there, they're gonna get hurt. They're gonna get hurt. One of the problems with these hurricanes is that within the hurricanes, you'll get tornadoes. Yeah, you'll get tornadoes start circulating within the hurricane and create even more destruction. Them tornadoes grab all the debris, a lot of debris left over from Hurricane Helene, and turn them things into dangerous projectiles. So the wind in the hurricane is usually not that serious of a problem, although you don't want a tree falling on top of you. But it's those tornadoes that form within the hurricane that make the wind even more dangerous than what they would be if they didn't exist. Because now you got projectiles coming at you. Pieces of wood, nails, all kinds of stuff. It's like getting hit with a bullet. It's crazy. Guys, if you stick to the end of this video, I'll tell you a dirty joke. Okay? It's not too dirty, but it's dirty enough. It's rated R. It's not PG. And as I'm driving northbound, it was very interesting. Nikki P had asked me a question on yesterday's video if truckers still honk their highway horn when people pump their arms up and down, gesturing to tug on the cable that makes the horn sound. And we do. At least I do. Especially for the kids, I do that. And I had mentioned that on my way up 75, it was about 4 or 5 teenagers with a sign. They were on an overpass and they had a sign and it said, "Honk if you're horny." So you already know. I wasn't the only one that honked. Crazy kids. I don't know who's crazier, those kids or the ones that blew their horns. Cray cray. I made it up to Georgia. I didn't make it up to Savannah. I had to pull over, and it's after midnight, and here we go again with the parking situation. So what I wound up doing was pulling over just shy of like maybe 40 miles of Savannah. There's a way station that I pulled into to stay so that I could reset my hours. Now, staying at a way station has its drawbacks. Way stations are not the type of places that truck drivers enjoy pulling into. Way station, as it suggests, is a place where you have to get on a scale. And here's the thing, you're driving, and as you're approaching the entrance to the way station from the highway, there are scales that you drive over that let you know as you're going into the way station. It lets you know which lane you're going to wind up in. You're going to get a green light either to go to the main scale, or you're going to get a green light where you can exit without getting on the scale. So that means that your front axle hasn't surpassed 12,000 pounds. And if you have a set of tandems, which are two axles close together, after you go over your front axle, you might have a set of tandems. And if that set of tandems doesn't go above 34,000 pounds, then they're going to check your rear tandems. And if that doesn't go over 34,000 pounds, then you're good. But sometimes we get loads that are heavy and the weight distribution isn't quite the way it's supposed to be. Now, there are things you can do to try to alleviate that situation. You can slide your rear tandems on your trailer to help change the weight distribution. You can slide your fifth wheel. Your fifth wheel is where your truck and your trailer latch onto each other. And that plate that the trailer pin, because there's a pin that comes down from the front of the trailer, that pin gets latched on to a disc that we call the fifth wheel. Once it latches onto the fifth wheel, you can move the fifth wheel. You can slide, in many trucks, you can slide it forward or slide it back, which will change the weight distribution along the truck tandems, right? Because you got truck tandems and then you got the trailer tandems. So for the truck tandems, you can adjust the weight distribution on the truck tandems by sliding the fifth wheel forward or back. And for the trailer, which can also impact the truck tandems. Well, actually, it can impact the steering axle, which is the very front axle, and the truck tandem axles when you slide the trailer axles forward and back. I know it sounds like fun. Should I do a video on that one day to explain it? So you can get a visual? You let me know. I might do a visual. You got to have all that in check. You got to make all the adjustments necessary so that when you get on the scale at the weigh station, you don't get in trouble. But weigh stations aren't places where they only weigh your truck. They also inspect your truck, and you got levels to those inspections. They also have scanners that can detect if you have a flat. Cray. There goes technology for you. So as you're driving into the scale or the weigh station, there are scanners that will notify the inspector in the booth, the DOT inspector or the trooper in the booth, whether or not one of your tires is flat. How they handle that, it depends on the inspector. Some inspector will slay you with a ticket, put you out of service, and getting put out of service is bad, really bad. Some of them will put you out of service with the condition that if you get it repaired within, 4 hours maybe, they will take away the out of service part and just leave you with a ticket. You do not want out of service on your record. You do not. So it depends on the inspector whether or not he wants to give you the out of service and leave it there. And then there's parking along the way station. There's usually areas where you can park. Some way stations will allow you to park while it's closed, and some will not. The ones that do, you can park. You can do your 10 hours there. However, you can have your sleep interrupted by some banging on the side of your truck. And it could very well be the inspector. And they want you to perform, or they want to perform, an inspection on your truck and your trailer. Now, there was this big old argument between truck drivers about whether or not they can interrupt your 10 hours. Yes, they can. Oh, but it says where that they can't. No. They cite, a lot of drivers cite a recommendation by a trucking organization that is not a federal agency. It's a third-party trucking agency or organization. It's a third-party trucking organization that cites a recommendation that they offered to the FMCSA. And they cite that like it's law. It is not. An inspector can request an inspector can require that you prepare yourself for a level 3, level 2, or level 1 inspection whenever and wherever. It does not matter. And during a conversation, I was at a way station that I did not have to stop and park, because sometimes they ask you to do that so that you can come inside with paperwork to verify your paperwork as a form of level 3 inspection. You know, make sure you got your insurance, your registration, all that good stuff. But I wasn't required to do that. I went over the scale, everything was fine, but I went into the parking lot, I went right inside, and I asked a DOT inspector about the very same issue. And what he said was that their supervisors would prefer that they didn't do that, but if they wanted to, yes, they can. It doesn't matter if you haven't completed your 10 hours reset or your sleep or birth time is interrupted. It doesn't matter, because you're supposed to go on duty when they do that inspection, and it doesn't matter. They don't do it as a courtesy, not as a regulation or a law. So if you're a truck driver and you're listening to this, don't waste your time trying to argue with them about that, because you will lose. Yes, you will lose. parked in that rest area 40 miles shy of Savannah to sleep over. I arrived there at around 4 o'clock in the morning, I think it was. After leaving the Tampa area at around 5. I think I told you what time it was. It was after 5. So I'm sitting in this weigh station with the possibility of having an inspector bang on the side of my truck, wake me up, interrupt my sleep, interrupt my 10-hour reset, my sleeper berth, and have me do a level 3, 2, or 1 inspection. Level 3 is a walk around, basically, just to see if there's anything hanging that shouldn't be, any air leaks, any fluids leaking. That's pretty much a level 3. It's not checking to see if your windshield is cracked or anything like that. Level 2 is a little more intense. Level 2, they'll have you pump your brakes, you'll check the lights, you'll check, might ask you for your license, make sure you don't have any suspensions. A level 1, forget it. With a level 1, the latex gloves are coming on. Yeah. You're getting a prostate check. They're checking everything. Okay? Everything. And if they're doing a level 1, they will find things that don't even exist. Okay? And level 1. Again, the worst thing is getting put out of service. Everything else, if you can get it repaired on site, yeah, it's going to cost more, probably double the amount of actually pulling into a shop and getting it repaired, but you're not allowed to move, so you're going to have to, it's got to be a road call. That's twice the amount. So let's say replacing one of the tires on the trailer at a shop might cost you $500 or $600. That same tire change on the road might cost you $1,200. Yeah. Oh yeah. And we got 18 of those bad boys, so if you got 2 of those blown out, yeah, you're looking at a $2,300 to $2,600 bill. Yeah, it's possible. Sure enough is. Is it going to be another long one? I don't know. Should I cut it short now? But I didn't tell you the joke. I didn't even talk about what I wanted to talk. Well, you know what? Okay, so hold on. Stop it! Let me finish this. All right, so after I get up to Georgia, after that lengthy evacuation, I'm thinking that I'm going to get a load near Savannah so I can continue moving north as planned. I was supposed to pick up a load going to Tennessee, and then from Tennessee out to Arizona. Turns out there was a change of plan. I'm sitting there waiting, and they're telling me, go back to Florida. What? What are you talking about? These people are evacuating. You want me to go back in? Yep. Luckily, it was only to Jacksonville. Getting into Jacksonville, well, I'll tell you, ran into an issue because the address that they gave me was incorrect. It led me to a hotel inside Jacksonville. And my driving experience helped me so much. It's unbelievable because inside the cities, streets get tight. Streets get tight. And car drivers don't understand what you got to go through. So they will drive up along the worst sides of the truck, or in your blind spot, or you got to make a wide turn, and they try to creep in right where the tandems of the trailer are going to just crush them. Crazy. And it could get hectic. But when you have experience, it helps a lot. You go from being terrified to mother effing everybody up. I almost said the word. Look out. Hey, this is an adult channel. Even though I got 7-year-old subscribers. They better, well, I gave the warning, so. Let me tell you what happened. Little Johnny and his friend, they're coming home from school. They're both in 3rd grade. And as little Johnny and his friend are getting close to little Johnny's house, little Johnny couldn't hold it. He ran over to a tree, and his buddy ran with him because he didn't know what was going on. So little Johnny pulls down his zipper, pulls out his penis, and starts to pee along the tree. And little Johnny's friend says, "Johnny, what's that?" And Johnny said, "I don't know, but I know who will know." So after Johnny was done pissing, he and his friend go over to Johnny's house, and Johnny runs to the bathroom, and his father's in there, and his father is peeing. And Johnny says, "Dad, what's that?" And his dad says, "Johnny, this is a penis. But this isn't just any penis, Johnny. This is the perfect penis." And Johnny goes, "Wow, thanks, Dad." Runs out, goes to his friend, pulls out his penis, and says, "I know what this is." And his friend says, "What is it, Johnny?" "This is a penis. And if it was 3 inches shorter, it'd be the perfect penis." There you go, folks. Listen, stay fresh. Keep it profitable. And it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. All right, kitty. Take them away.
Arabam Dacia, seviyorum çift kalem aça. Göremedi kimseden fayda. İşler